Hey there, this is the Chapter 2 review I'm going to go over. Big thing, make sure you know that you have to show all of your work to earn credit. The test will look very similar. Let's take a look. It'll start off with one-step equations, go to two, multi-step, and then variables on both sides. So number one, I can see n is not alone because it's being divided by 2. The opposite of divide by 2 is to multiply by 2. So the 2 over 2 cancels. N equals 15 times 2 is 30. I've also posted the key to this so that you can look at that also. Number 2, to get rid of a positive 19, we would subtract 19. What we do on one side, we have to do to the other. So x is alone, x equals 16. All right, number 3, v is not alone because of the minus 6. The opposite of subtracting 6 would be to add 6. We'd add 6 on both sides, cancel and clean. v equals negative 9 plus 6 is negative 3. Number 4, a number beside a letter is multiplication. So this means negative 8 times n. So the opposite of multiplying by negative 8 is to divide by negative 8. And I find out that n equals 112 divided by negative 8. I would use my calculator. So 112, should I grab that before? Divided by negative 8 is negative 14. So those were the one-step equations. So now, moving into the two-step equations. On number 5, I see first I'd have to simplify the right there by distributing. So I have 18 equals 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times x is 9x. So now to get x alone, I see is on the right. So to move a 27, I would subtract 27. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So 18 minus 27 is negative 9. On the right, I have 9x. So 9x is 9 times x. So the opposite of multiplying by 9 is to divide by 9. The 9 over 9 cancels. X is now alone. And negative 9 divided by 9 is negative 1. Number 6, right? We have to remember, these are a little tricky. This negative 1 is stuck in the fraction. So I have to get rid of the fraction first. So the fraction is a divide by 2. So to get rid of a divide by 2, I would multiply both sides by 2. The 2 over 2 cancels. I have negative 1 plus n equals negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. So now to get n alone, to move a negative 1, I would add 1 on both sides. Cancel and clean. So n equals negative 10 plus 1 is negative 9. All right, number 7, another two-stepper, trying to get b alone. b is on the left. b is not alone first because of the negative 10. So the opposite of that negative 10 would be to add 10 to both sides. Be careful when you clean up here that you do not lose the negative in front of the 3b. So we have negative 3b equals 8 plus 10 is 18. To get rid of a multiply by negative 3, we would divide both sides by negative 3. So b equals 18 divided by negative 3 is negative 6. Number 8, trying to get k alone. K is stuck inside of those parentheses. So to get rid of those parentheses, we would distribute. So we have 70 equals negative 7 times k is negative 7k. Negative 7 times 1 is negative 7. Now we have a two-step equation, so we're going to get k alone. K is on the right. So to move the minus 7, we would start by adding 7 to both sides. So 70 plus 7 is 77 equals negative 7k. Don't lose your negative. To get rid of a multiply by negative 7, we divide both sides by negative 7. The negative 7 cancels out. K equals 77 divided by negative 7 would be negative 11. Let's see, are we on number 9? I think so. So number 9, notice the difference here. These are the two that people get confused, number 9 and number 10. So number 9, this negative 6 is not stuck inside the fraction. So we can go ahead and add 6 to move that negative 6 because he's not stuck in the fraction. So we have v over 15 equals negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. Then to get rid of the divide by 15, we multiply by both sides by 15. So v equals negative 1 times 15 is negative 15. Notice the difference on the next one. The next one, this negative 1 is stuck in the fraction. So you cannot start by adding 1 because that negative 1 is stuck in the fraction. So get rid of the fraction by multiplying by 3. To get rid of that, divide by 3. So then 3 times negative 5 is negative 15 equals negative 1 plus b. So then to get b alone, to move that negative 1, we would add 1 on both sides. So negative 15 plus 1 is negative 14 equals b. You might want to pause it there for a minute and take a look at those two questions, how they are different. Make sure you know which one is which. All right, so now we're into where we need to simplify a side before we start moving around. So on number 11, I could simplify the left first by doing negative 3 minus 7. So that'd be 5x. Negative 3 minus 7 is really negative 10 equals 0. Now that the sides are simplified, I'm doing opposites. So to move a negative 10, I add 10 on both sides. So 5x equals 10. Then to get rid of our multiply by 5, we divide by 5. X equals 2. Same thing on number 12, but it's on the right-hand side. I can simplify those two groups of v's, put them together. So I really have 7 equals negative 3b minus 4b is negative 7b. Then we're already to a one-step equation. To get rid of a multiply by negative 7, we divide by negative 7. And v equals 7 over negative 7 is negative 1. Same concept on the next two. They're just a little more complex. Let's see. We would start by distributing for number 13. So 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 8k would be positive 24k equals negative 87. Can't simplify anymore, so we start moving around. To move a 9, we would subtract 9. So we're sitting at 24k equals negative 87 minus 9 is negative 96. Make sure you use your calculator for that if you're going to struggle. Better to use your calculator than not. So then when we divide by 24, negative 96 divided by 24 is negative 4. 14, we also start by distributing. So negative 7 times 6n is negative 42n. Negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. We still have the minus 14 because he was not part of the distribution. Still equal to 276. However, that didn't get us fully simplified. We can still combine like terms of negative 14 minus 4. So we have negative 42n. Negative 14 minus 4 is really negative 18 equals 276. So now that everything is simplified, we would start moving things around. So to move a minus 18, we would add 18 on both sides of our equation. Cancel and clean. We've got negative 42n equals 276 plus 18 is 294. So then when I divide by negative 42, to get rid of the multiply by negative 42, I find out that n is negative 7. All right, last two. These involve everything, right? Variables on both sides is what's coming into play now. So we'd start by simplifying either side. I see here on the left, I've got two groups of k's I can put together. So 5, negative 6 minus 8 would be negative 14k equals negative 7k minus 6k would be negative 13k. So then what I notice is that I have k's on both sides. So I'm going to get my k's on the left My no K on the right. So this 5 is on the K side where he doesn't belong. So to move a positive 5, I would subtract 5 on both sides. So I've got negative 14K equals, I can't actually subtract the 5 from the negative 13K because they're not like terms. So I've got negative 13K minus 5. So now I see that negative 13K is on the wrong side. So to move a negative 13K, I would add 13K. So negative 14K plus 13K is negative 1K equals, don't lose your negative, negative 5. So now that everyone's on the correct side, I divide by negative 1 to find out that K is 5. And our last one here, we start by distributing. This one has a lot going on in this problem, the most difficult problem on the test. So 7 plus A equals negative 8 times 5A is negative 40A. Whoa, bad zero. Negative 8 times negative 7 is positive 56. Then we still have this minus 8, right? Because he was not part of the distribution. So then I notice on the right-hand side, there's some like terms that I'm going to go ahead and combine because I simplified both sides before I start moving from side to side. So 7 plus A equals negative 40A. 56 minus 8 would be positive 48. So then I see I have A's on both sides. So I'm going to get my A's on the left, my no A on the right. So 7 does not belong on the A side because he doesn't have an A. So I would subtract 7 on both sides. So I get A equals negative 40A. I subtract the 7 from 48 because neither one of them have A's. They're both constants. That's 41. Then I look at my no A side and I see I have A's over there. So to move a negative 40A, I would add 40A. So remember this A here has an invisible 1 in front of it. So 1A plus 40A is 41A equals other side, I have 41. So now that everyone is on the correct side, I would divide by 41 and find out that A is 1. All right, I know that was kind of fast. You could go back and watch it again. These videos can only be so long, so sometimes I got to talk fast. Also remember the key is also posted on Google Classroom.